Welcome back to Coach Talk.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, old Jay. How has your day been so far?
Day's been really, really good. Thank you so much for asking. It's always an absolute delight and pleasure to get in the same room with you where we can do something that we love.
We rock it out. Like, this is something that we love every day doing this.
We do.
It's pretty awesome. So what would you like to talk about in Coach Talk today?
Oh, thank you so much. It's my turn to put a topic on the conversational table. Dave, we have talked about some amazing things in the last couple of podcasts, and we've covered some great models and some great strategies, and we've still got a long way to go. One thing that I was wondering, and I'd love to have your perspective on it, is how do you decide on an opportunity that's meant for you?
That is a great topic. And as people know, this is very unscripted and we don't have any discussion about this. So you've decided to spring this on me just out of the blue.
Yep. That's my little gift to you today.
Thanks for the gift.
You're welcome.
How do I decide?
How do you decide which opportunity is right for you?
Yeah.
We've talked about taking action. We've looked at, trust me model. We've looked at focus and energy, and we get what we expect. I guess one thing that comes to mind through the coaching is sometimes people don't always know how to work out what is an opportunity that's right for them, and then how to take steps towards it. So we've sort of touched on the action a little bit, but I would really like to know your perspective and your take on how you decide an opportunity is right for you.
Yeah, so something like this for me, I would start asking myself questions, and this is something we haven't explored yet with our coaching people out there. When something presents itself to me that I would like to explore, and I encourage people to do this as well, is to start talking to yourself. So sometimes I do this when I'm walking my dog and I have a conversation and my dog knows everything I'm talking about. But in voicing something and asking myself questions, it then promotes answers within myself as well. So one question I ask first and foremost is, how is this going to serve me?
Great question.
So, and straight up, if it won't serve me, then I'll let it go. That's me. And people have different perspectives on this. For me, if it's a job opportunity or if it's something else that presents itself, or if someone wants something of me and I haven't thought it through, I will think, how is this going to serve me? Mm-hmm. And that could be also in relationships. It also could be job opportunities. It could be anything really. If it does serve you, what is the outcome that I or you want to achieve out of this? So it's just questions. You don't have to be an expert in questions or anything like that. It's just having some time to sit back and think within yourself and ask yourself some questions. And if you like, we can put some questions up on the website. But other questions I would ask are things like, if I do this venture, what will it give me?
Okay.
If I don't do this, what will it give me?
Oh, good questions. That's like a pros and cons list.
It's like a pros and cons. So if I don't do this, what won't it give me?
Now, you said you talk to yourself when you do this. Yeah. Do you have instances where you talk to yourself and then go home and write it down? Because we know that when you write things down, it also can give you clarity around it.
Most definitely. Writing things down, in the process of writing it down, it helps memorize something, but also it's a prompt where you don't have a biased or a judgmental mind come in down the track and try and convince you of something else. If it's written down, it's there, it's a current thought or idea, you have it to look back and reflect on. I think writing things down is fantastic. One thing I use, and I showed this to you last week.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a plug. I don't endorse it or support it. I'm not getting paid for anything to do with this product, but there is a product called Rocketbook.
Yep.
Rocketbook, which I use, which is, I make a lot of notes in this, and it's a reusable book over and over and over that you can write on the pages, and then when you're done with it, you can take a snapshot of the page, which uploads onto an app on your phone, and you can wipe the page clean with a rag.
That's fantastic. I love that.
So you can make notes after notes after notes. It gets put straight onto your app. You can save it on your laptop, on your phone, and you can use this little book to just jot things down. So what you say about writing things down, I think, is very important, and it's a great way to be, because making notes, and then for me, I put my notes on my laptop. I don't have a paper trail of cut down trees everywhere, but I still have notes of everything that I want to think about, my planning, my processes. It's all there, and yeah, definitely write things down.
Great. What are some other questions? So how will it serve me if I do this? What does it give me? If I don't do this, what will it give me? What other questions do you ask?
So I then start to expand my awareness a little bit and think about, how will this impact other people? So if there's family involved, if there are other people in the venture that are involved, whether it be business or sport, how will this impact other people? Will it impact other people? And this is in a positive or negative way. What are the long-term goals of what I'm doing, if there are long-term goals? And also, what are the short-term goals of what I'm doing? Is there a cost involved?
Yep.
Can I devote time, energy, or money to this? And for me, and this is another podcast which I want to go through down the track, but if the answer is no to one of those three questions, I don't do the venture at all.
But the time, money, or energy?
Yep.
Okay.
So time, energy, money. If I can't devote the time, energy, or money to something, if a no is one of those, then I won't do it.
So it sounds like it's the right opportunity at the wrong time.
Yeah, correct. So, and that can apply to anything. It could be a friend rings up and says, would you like to go to see a live band on Saturday? Do I have the time? I do. Do I have the energy? I do. Do I have the money? I do. Yes, I'd love to go.
Yeah.
For example. So
it's a nice little quick and easy one, isn't it?
It's a quick and easy reckoner, and we will do a podcast on this and we'll unpack it and look at the whole concept of it. But that's a quick one for me to decide if I want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with a lot of the things that you do in life may not involve money. It could just be something as simple as, should I take my dog for a walk right now? Do I have the time, energy, and money? I don't have the time right now. I'm about to jump online and do a Zoom meeting with a client group. So the answer is no.
Yeah.
So I just put it off and reschedule, or work out a strategy for later on. So if it comes at where time I have, energy, definitely have, I love my dog, and money isn't a factor, the answer is yes, then I go.
Yeah.
So that for me is important to figure out very quickly if I want to do something, any endeavour, along with other questions. So that's a go-to for me, those three.
They're really healthy strategies.
Yeah. So by this stage, I should have an idea of, do I really want to do this or not? And this is without going into any in-depth planning, any critical thinking, anything else. By this stage, I think most people would know, yes, I want to do this, or maybe not now.
Yeah. So, it's almost like the front line of defence for deeper consideration of the opportunity.
Yeah. So if it's a no, for me, and this is one great thing I was shown in my coaching when I was being coached. I love the concept that I was taught that no means not now, instead of just definitive no. So most of the time, if there's a no for me, generally I'll say it's just no means not now, unless it's really a no, and that'll be, and I will say to people, no, definitely not. But I never close doors on things, because situations change and people change, and my situation changes.
Yeah.
So I know maybe a yes down the track. It may differ with time, energy, and money. It may differ with, what is it going to give me? Is it going to serve me? All these things are fluid.
And I guess where there's there's opportunities with other people involved or organisations, I know it's about values matching and making sure that you're coming at it from the right organisational synergy to make sure that you're both showing up for dinner at the same time and that you both deserve a place at the table.
100%. And values is a great word, and underline that 10 times over, because that's part of the other question process that I ask myself, and I know you do, and it's great for people to, and once again, more podcasts, we'll talk about values. But one thing I do ask myself is, does this align with my value system?
Yeah.
Whatever it is I'm doing, does it align with my beliefs as well? So my values are important to me, and my values differ to yours, and your values differ to somebody else's, and everyone has their own value system. You align this with time, energy, and money, and also, does this work within my value system? You'll get an answer fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it's either yes, and if it's a yes, for me, you jump in boots and all, and you go at it 100% because that's what life's all about. If it's a no, then you have to have the difficult conversation with whoever it is you have the conversation with. But hopefully they've got the same respect and the same values that would be able to accept that. And
Yeah,
if there's something
hopefully.
you can't do, and it's how you language things too with people and how you structure what you say. But it's not a bad thing sometimes to say no or not now, purely because it's not working within your value system, or you haven't got time, energy, or money. It's not going to serve you. Or you look at the long-term and the short-term goals. Where is it going to put me? If you're honest with yourself and you're honest with where you are right now, and this may change in the future because people grow and people change, then there's no problem in making a decision and sticking by it.
I really appreciate those insights, and I know a lot of our listeners will as well. So
Thank you.
they're great strategies for when you've got time to consider, even if it's a short space of time.
Yeah.
However, the flip side of that, I guess, and we've all done it, where we decide to jump in boots and all and then think about it later. No, I think I'm the only one that's ever done that. But we all have been there.
Yeah.
So can you give us a perspective, because it is, I guess, where we've taken on an opportunity and not really thought about it. Because for me personally, if I say yes to something, I'll figure out how to make it work because I committed to it, and that's a commitment that I made to, first of all, an external person, but second of all, I'm like, well, I chose to commit to this, so I'm going to stand by and be accountable for my decision, so now I have to make it work. Is that something that you also look at? How talk us through your strategies around that, because I can't be the only one in this room that's made those decisions.
You know what? All of us have done an impromptu decision of, yeah, I'm going to go do this. Yeah, let's get at it. And you've jumped in, boots and all. I've done that, and everyone's done that. Now, for me, part of my strategy is a couple of things. So if I've entered something maybe a little bit quickly or rashly, what I do now is one thing is I regularly check in on myself. So I will check in whatever time period I need to and say, okay, where am I at? How am I traveling with this? And I'll ask myself some of the questions that we just spoke about. Is this still serving me? What am I getting out of this? What are my long and short-term goals? And if I continue with this, do I have the time, energy, and money? So you can use the same process, even though you've jumped into something without a lot of planning. And you'll quickly get the same answer of, yes, it's working for me, let's go, go, go. Or maybe it's not what I thought and we have to work on another strategy here and work something out. But similar questions too. But the first and foremost is you've got to check in with yourself. And a lot of people don't. They'll just keep going on the same path, keep going. And then before they know it, they're very unhappy because things aren't working for them. They haven't checked in on themselves and said, okay, how am I doing here? What's happening? What's coming up at the moment? Where should I be? Where am I? And adversely, some people are further down the track in a positive way than they thought they would be. This is fantastic. I'm loving it, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's important to check in on yourself and just ask yourself, how am I doing? And where should I be? Where do I want to be? If it's coming up in you that it's not as good as you thought, go back to is it serving me? Time, energy, and money. What am I getting out of this? Long-term, short-term goals. And it will paint a clear picture. If you are honest with yourself, does it align with my value system? All of those, and you should have an answer. And if that is the case, then you go back to having the difficult conversation with those to either rejig something or exit.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
I guess in instances where we've dropped, kind of jumped in boots and all and just sort of dropped the rational thinking in the moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we do have that moment to rethink and go through, if it's not, because we all have that uncertainty, and uncertainty is something that can be looked at in two ways. Some of us look at it from a fear-based perspective, and some of us look at it and go, well, it could be a great opportunity. How you choose to look at it, I guess, is going to lead you to the outcome that you desire. But when you do go through those strategies you've just mentioned, it gives you the opportunity to then ask better questions of yourself, even more so than the time, energy and money, and then have a better conversation with the people that can support you for the accountability of the decision that you've made.
Yep, absolutely. And you can see that this has a flow-on effect with what we're talking about, is we're leading towards self-care.
Yes.
Which is, once again, another podcast.
We love our conversations and where they lead down the rabbit hole.
We do. So it does lead to self-care. And this is part of, in talking to yourself, in having your own awareness, in knowing where your needs lie, and in knowing what is and what is not serving you, is a large part of your self-care. Very important, because you need to look after yourself first and foremost. And there's, I would think in Australia, from narrow part I've seen, is that there's not a lot of self-love and self-care in this country. There seems to be a lot of just people keep going until they're exhausted. They keep going until they finally give up. They're not checking in on themselves enough or at all, where it's important to self-assess and be self-aware, and also check on yourself on a regular basis, even just almost like a meditative process, and just ask yourself, how am I doing at the moment? What's working for me right now? What's not working for me right now? And can I fix it? And if not, let it go. If I can do something about it, what's my strategy? So it opens up a whole spider web of options, which for me and for you being coaches, it's quite exciting. It's just getting people to realise that there are options and there are things that we can do. And the things that are out of our control, it's quite cathartic to let it go.
Yeah.
And literally let it go and move on. So there's a lot in that, LJ. What do you think? Yeah.
There is a lot in there. And I guess the biggest takeaway message that I love your strategies are they're really simple and easy to kind of quickly run through regardless of the opportunity that's presented with you. But what I just took away from what you were saying then is the journey goes from being an external journey to an internal journey.
Yeah.
Because we do know that in the coaching space at the moment and in the community too, that the view of self is bantered around quite a lot. Sometimes some of the messages may come across like they kind of miss the mark, because they're still bringing people into the selfishness of making a decision rather than the selflessness of making a decision.
Yeah.
So selfishness is more driven by desire. Selflessness is more delivered by those intrinsic core fundamentals of what do I value, what do I believe, who is this serving, exactly the strategies that you went through.
Yeah, sure. Totally agree. It's something that I think when people grasp this, what you were just saying, it can change their life dramatically.
You really do show up differently.
Yeah, which is, I love how you talk, because we are going to do another session on how you show up, which is I spoke to about. Yeah, there's so many things that we are going to talk about, but showing up is, you do show up differently, and people notice it, and more importantly, you notice it within yourself.
Yeah,
and expanding your awareness is what a coach does, and what we would like to do with our listeners is expand their awareness, where they can make some informed decisions. They're aware of where they're at, where they want to be, and also if something isn't serving them, let it go.
And to grow your resourcefulness of skills within yourself.
Yeah.
Having support around us is really, really important. However, at the end of the day, whoever we ask for advice, they can't do it for us.
No.
So this is primarily why I wanted to ask this question about how you choose and draw on your own resourcefulness to make use of an opportunity that's presented to yourself, because at the end of the day, realistically, our decisions and our intrinsic motivation to say yes or no to something is all about who we are and how we show up.
Yeah, 100%. When we take action, and we go back into the podcast where we're at cause or in effect, when we take action and be at cause is when we get growth and when we move forwards. And in doing that in this space as well, and being aware of, I need to do the heavy lifting myself, that's when you're going to get your gains. So it's good to have a coach, and you and I, we love coaching.
We do.
But I know that you do, and myself as well, we expect the people we work with to do the heavy lifting. So part of that for me is, if I'm self-assessing and saying, okay, what serves me, yes or no? Is this within my value system? All of these questions, that is me doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And then I can make a decision and go forward from there. So the work is done within myself, and it's not hard. It's just having an awareness and expanding that. So for people that are considering being coached, or they want to just do their own work, talk to yourself, ask yourself questions, and be prepared to take action and do your own heavy lifting, and watch the gains from that, because there's massive growth in that, and they'll see it. It'll happen quickly, and suddenly they're on their way, and life changes from there.
Absolutely. I love that. The great analogy. And high levels of trust within yourself.
Oh, very much so, yeah. You become attuned to your inner self as well.
Word,
yeah,
attuned.
you like it.
Yes, I do like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
So there you go. So,
thank you so much. What a great overview of exploring strategies around a topic that an opportunity is basically a decision or a choice.
It is.
I choose to use the language opportunity because I choose to look at the sunny side up all the time and see the silver linings. Anything I choose, it's either going to give me a lesson or a blessing.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about it. If there's a lesson or a blessing, either way, you're going to get growth out of it.
Yeah.
Instead of people thinking, oh, I've just failed at this, or this didn't work. The lesson out of it, the learning out of it is feedback.
Yes.
And feedback is great. Feedback promotes growth in life. So, yeah. But I thank you for asking me the question. It's great to put me on the spot and see what I come up with. So I appreciate that.
You did really well. You wore the waders really well.
The waders really well.
Wait till next week when we dive in deeper to something else.
Yeah, so there we go. Check us out on the website, which is
coachtalk.com.au.
It is, and feel free to touch base and say hello.
And you can pick us up on Instagram, where we haven't posted much on Instagram yet. We're getting on that. But also the Facebook page. We're pretty active in the Facebook page too. And thank you to everybody who's reached out to us with our private messages and just touching base to tell us what you love and what you're enjoying. And we really, really appreciate your time and energy to take this journey with us.
Absolutely. We are getting great feedback on Facebook, and I think, thank you all. It's just it's great, isn't it?
It is really nice. We are so blessed to have amazing people in our networks who, and they're not all from coaching, they're from so many different walks of life. So thank you to everybody who's reached in, given us some great feedback and topics that you want to explore. We really look forward to being able to dive a little bit deeper down this rabbit hole with you on the topics that you want to hear.
Awesome. Have a great day, LJ. I'll be talking to you later on.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.